Hi everyone, I'm Suze from Reconnect NZ's Creative Studios, and I'm wanting to start a series of interviewing artists. So this is our first one. We've got Susan Louie, who's a glass artist, and she's been hiring the studio space over this weekend for her glass casting course, which has been awesome. We've had some lovely ladies here working with us. So, Susan.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm awake.
You're awake, yes, yeah. It's a bit earlyish as we get ready for the next day of the class. So, Susan, what got you into glass casting?
Well, I've always liked glass. When I was a youth, I used to collect those brown Karu glasses, and I thought that when I got older, I would like to do something with glass. So when I was 40, I started quite late, and I enrolled in a stained glass class.
Oh, wow.
And I started doing copper foil work. And I had a great teacher, and I loved it, and I made a whole lot of stained glass sun catchers.
Oh, lovely.
And I was working for a courier company at the time, and I got all these orders. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yes.
And I thought, oh yeah, this is really cool. And then after a while I did some lead lighting, which I sort of did a couple of windows, and I really enjoyed the technical aspects.
Yes.
You know, tapping in the horseshoe nails and the little bits and pieces of glass that you grind. I used to stay up all night after work till about 1 in the morning just using a carborundum stone.
Yep.
And I just kept going and kept going. And then one day I was in Kingsland, and my teacher was actually working at Savarin's at the time. And she said to me, there's a space for a casting workshop at ArtStation. And I said to her, what's that? And then she started rabbiting on about something about moulds and kilns and firing and glass and electric, and I had no idea. And she said, go and grab the last course, last space. So with that I went home and I enrolled in this class, never heard of it before, for the following weekend. So I got the last spot because I heard they were quite popular. And then so the following weekend came, and I went to ArtStation to do this workshop with Jo Nuttall, and at the time she was one of New Zealand's top glass artists. And then I went to do a workshop, and she showed us what to do, and how to do it with a block of plaster, and to start digging and making a piece of work. And I had no idea about 3 dimensions, about anything about carving. So all these other students were like carving into this block with these intricate details, and I'm kind of like, coming from a stained glass background, I had no idea.
Which is 2-dimensional.
It was 2-dimensional. So in the end I just carved a little 2-dimensional thing, put in some, you know, bits, and put in some, I learned how to do mark making and painting. So I thought, oh, I'll just use this tool and make some marks, and I made a little frame. And then when we finished, we put the glass, the gaffer let crystal frit into the moulds, and then Jo fired them, and we went back the next weekend to reveal what we had made. And when we revealed it, I was like, oh my God, that is the most beautiful thing in the world. And everybody else's was more beautiful than mine, but I thought, no, this is mine. I like it. I love it. So that's how I got into it.
Got you started.
And that got me started, and that got me hooked. Yeah.
So you continued to...
I continued to do some workshops at ArtStation. And then after that I set up a little sort of steaming and wax station in my then partner's garage, poor bugger. So I took over half his garage, and I started making waxes, and we would fire at ArtStation. And then I just got so hooked that I became obsessed. You know how you find something new and you just become obsessed? And because I have an addictive nature, I was so hooked I wouldn't go to bed till 2 in the morning. I'd be making my waxes, steaming out, and this is all very new, so you don't know how long it takes to steam something out.
Great learning process.
Yeah, just little things, and
Yeah.
then and then that's how I sort of started, and then eventually I decided that I would go and do a workshop in 2005. So I went and did this amazing workshop with this international artist named David Reiki, and he's an internationally renowned glass caster in the UK, a family man, really cool. So I booked in with 5 of us down in Auckland to go to Wanganui to do this international
Yeah.
workshop. Cost a lot of money. But the time was, I was working full time, so I had the money,
Yeah.
and so 5 of us went and did his workshop for a week long.
Wow.
And it was just the most amazing thing in the world, just entrenched in the world of casting
Yeah.
with a fantastic tutor and a fantastic lot of friends that we
Great.
had.
Yeah.
And we set ourselves up as on the periphery because we were kind of, on the edge.
You were playing.
Yeah, we were playing, and we had such a nice time. And that was a really great experience for me, and I learnt a lot. And I learnt a lot about 3 dimensions, and I learnt a lot about sprues and how to do certain things with him. And that knowledge doesn't come easy or free.
No.
And then after that year, the following year, I did another workshop with a guy by the name of Richard Whiteley. Now, at the time, Richard Whiteley was the director or the head of the National University of Australia in glass. And he's renowned for his work around the world. And he showed us different methods.
Yeah.
So I did a long course with him down in Wanganui. And that was fantastic. Just gave me new skills. Not that I use those skills at the moment, but one day.
Yeah.
You go to these workshops expecting to use the skills, but my work wasn't actually going in that direction.
Yeah.
And then, so I sort of did that with him back in 2006, took all the notes, which I still have. Good thing I did shorthand. And it was just really amazing. And then I just kept going and kept going because just the light, the reflection and the refraction of light, and how, the lead crystal actually does that. And it's just such a natural sort of thing for me now.
Yeah, yeah. So you've sacrificed a lot to be a glass artist. You gave up your job. You went into glass casting full time.
Yeah.
And you've made some amazing pieces, and we'll put the link to Susan's website up so you can have a look at her work. Really stunning stuff. But it's all around your Chinese heritage, isn't it?
Yeah. When I first started, it was, when you come from a background that's not artistic of any kind, and you come from a basically corporate background, it's very difficult to get your mindset off that stuff. To go into a creative realm from my background is very difficult when you don't have, or when you don't think you have some kind of passion or some kind of outlet to let go. And when I started making work, I was just making work because I could.
Yeah.
Because it was lovely. Until one day somebody said to me, find yourself a theme.
Yeah. Find your story.
Find your story. And I used to sit there and think, well, I don't have a story.
We all do have stories,
and
though.
why the hell do I need to have a bloody story? Why can't I just make stuff,
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I met Sam Ireland in Bromwich, who used to own the Studio Gallery in Kingsland. Excuse me. And I used to go up to see Sam and talk to him because he was a really good glass artist at the time. He made deconstructive stuff, quite different to mine. But I used to go up there and talk to him about buck tray hanging on a fence. I said to him, wouldn't it be really cool, because no one in glass is doing that, hanging some buck tray on a fence. And I kept going on about it for months and months and months until he got so sick of me talking about it.
He said, do it.
He said, do it.
Yeah.
So he went to his calendar and he put a date, 3rd of October 2005. He says, this is when your solo is. You got 1 year. Get working.
Yeah.
Because I had all these ideas. And so from that was born this idea of myself as a Chinese girl growing up on a market garden.
Yeah.
So what I did was what I knew.
Yes.
What I knew was me.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I don't really have to make 15 different forms to have a solo. I don't want to do that. I want to tell a story from my own life, from my own personal experiences. So for a year, I just kept casting and making all this work, I realised my bak choy on the fence. I realised my roast pork, and I made all these vegetables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I paid homage to my parents.
Yeah.
On the market garden. So my first solo was based on my memories of sustenance, of being brought up as a Chinese girl in a predominantly Maori community, because back in those days, you know, people didn't know how to dialogue with us because we're so Chinese.
Yeah.
You know, the Maori kids would walk down past our house and go, "What are those Chinese people hanging on the fence?" And those were bak choy that we were drying.
Yeah.
So that was my inspiration to actually do all that, because that formed part of my own personal heritage and my own story.
Yeah.
So I got myself a theme.
Yes. And I think the main thing, and something that I'm learning, is that it is about our own personal stories and how we express ourselves, no matter what the medium is. And another reason why I called myself Reconnect NZ is because it is about reconnecting with our stories, reconnecting with our what I'm calling our inner child, our soul, our past, and how that's shaped and formed us now as artists, because those stories resonate with others out there, and it puts a lot more meaning to the work that we're putting out. It's not something that we can mass produce and have it available to a lot of people. It's our heart and soul, isn't it, that goes into it, and our memories and who we are as people.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to be able to do that.
Yes.
You know, like writers, writers actually write from their heart.
Yes, they write what they know.
And they write what they know.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's not easy. It's not easy to put yourself out there. No. It's not easy to put, you know, you in the process you become so vulnerable that you've just got to go, well, stuff it.
Yes.
And you've just got to stop thinking about what other people think or feel. Because in the end, it's what you do that matters most.
Yes.
It's how you feel. And if you can connect with somebody else and inspire someone else to be able to do that for themselves, then you've already won.
Absolutely.
You know, you've already won by being real.
Yes.
You know, there's authentic.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not for everybody.
Yes.
You know, but
sort of, we were talking about masks the other day. It's like taking that mask down and letting people see the real you.
Yeah.
And they see the real you through your art and through your work, and through the stories that you tell with the pieces that you make.
Yeah, well, it's really important. Well, for me, it's important because it's a therapy.
Yeah.
It's a therapy for me, for my culture, for my parents, and for the world.
Yeah.
And I just think that, you know, there's lots of artists out there who struggle.
Yeah.
Who really struggle. Oh, you know, I don't want to make that because people will think. And I'm just going, well, it doesn't matter really what people think. It's what you feel.
Yes.
It's your wairua that's going into that work.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to put out there? What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
You know, because life's so short.
And there may be people that might not like it, but there'll be a lot of people that do. A lot of people that resonate with the story that you're telling.
That connect.
Yes.
And when you can connect with somebody else on that level, it makes it more humane
for
me,
absolutely.
You know, rather than making something and putting it out on show and go, oh, what's that? Oh, it's just a vase.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a story behind it.
There's a story. There's always a story with my work, whether it's food, whether it's whatever. It's basically based around my culture.
Yeah. Growing
up on a market garden, coming from a background. You know, sometimes it's about going back and starting again.
Absolutely,
you know, no matter what age. I think that it's really important for people to be able to express themselves really well, and to have that heart-to-heart dialogue, because that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. So one of the things, we'll sort of wrap up because we're talking. We get together, we talk too much.
We yak.
We yak. So the things that I'm sort of learning from the conversation that we're having today is that, one, it doesn't matter what stage you are in life. When the bug bites, the bug bites. And it doesn't matter what experience you've had up until that point. Like, I've had art in my life all my life, and you're saying that you came into creativity later in life. You've been ahead on your journey in regards to getting it out there and being a full-time artist. I'm just at the beginning of that journey. So it doesn't matter where you are in life. I think the main thing is that expressing yourself
Yeah.
in a creative way. And it doesn't matter what the medium is. It
Yeah.
could be poetry, it could be writing, it could be photography, it could be interior design, it could be anything. It's more important to just reconnect with that inner child, with those
Yeah.
stories that make who you are, to identify and to acknowledge and to embrace who you've become through your life journey. Hey,
Definitely, you know, because if you hold it in, you know, you're pushing shit uphill.
yeah,
And I'm not
absolutely.
prepared to do that.
No,
You know, you
live your authentic life.
You've just got to live your authentic life the best that you know how.
Yep.
Put yourself out there. Don't worry about what other people say. That's been my journey. Have your tūranga waiwai and just stick to it. No matter what people say, what people think. Because in the end,
that's where your
matters.
happiness. That's where your happiness is.
That's where your happiness.
That's where your happiness is.
And you've got to be happy.
So if we can encourage even just one person through this interview that we're having today, through this video, to just take that step, get out there and either pick up a creative pursuit.
Yeah, come and see us.
Come and see us. Yes, that's right. Come and do cast glass course. That's a bit of a tongue twister for a Sunday.
It doesn't matter what you do. You know, you won't be judged. You know, come and let go. Come and you know, let your soul pour out. Whatever it is you need to do, because at Sue's, at Reconnect Art, that's what you do.
Yeah.
There is no judgment. There is no, you know, so you don't have to worry about all that. There's no egos. There's no judgments. There's no... It's just this wonderful space out in the middle of the Waitakaris. It's just so beautiful.
I'll just sort of show you a little bit of that space that we have here. So just in the middle of the bush, which is really, really lovely. It's a lovely, inspiring place to be.
And have some fun.
Yes, and there will be workshops that I'll be running shortly as soon as I get myself set up to do that. So...
and that'll be fun.
We'll hopefully have Susan back again, and other artists as well as some of the workshops. One of them that I'm working on is called Unleashing Your Inner Creative. So that's a good way to come and explore if you're in Auckland. Anyway, we better call it quits there, and thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you very much.
I will put in the link below the link to your website. No, not your website, your Facebook, to your Facebook page.
I've got several.
And I'll see if I can pull some photos off of some of your work.
Yeah, anybody want to have a kōrero with me, you're more than welcome.
Yes, and likewise. So, bye.
Bye.
We'll see you later.